Hello everyone, my name is Nia Kukreja and I'll be presenting for the Career Counseling class. I would first like to start off with this quote from Collins' textbook by Joe Didion, and it says, "We forget all too soon the things we thought we would never forget. We forget what we whispered and what we dreamed. We forget who we were." The reason why this quote spoke to me was because in the past, when I was in my early 20s, like 21 or something, I was about to graduate from my university. And it was a time when it was our last class of our undergrad years with our favorite professor, counseling professor, Dr. Kashi. And she said to the whole class that don't go for the field that's glamorous, that seems glamorous to you. Go for something that makes you happy, that makes you enjoy and in love with what you're doing. And at that point, it didn't make sense to me, but it didn't quite sink in. But I didn't, I didn't make a note of it in my head, and I still remember it. That was the same class where she was pointing to some of us. Maybe like some of us she had probably grown quite fond of, I don't know. And I was one of those few that was, fortunate enough to know what she thought or what she could tell from her knowing us all those 3 years, where we would be suitable for or what field would be a good match for us. And for one of my friends, my classmates, she said, "You'll be good in, criminal psychology. If you went for it, you'll be perfect for it." And for another one, she said, "You should just stick to therapy." For me, she said, "Work with children. You'll be best when you work with children." And I was like, even though I was flattered, in those times I was kind of still getting to know myself, and I was still starting to get comfortable and accept myself. And I was really in those days not comfortable with the way I looked specifically because I thought I looked too young for my age, and that's what everyone else said. And when she said you'd be perfect to work with children because of your face, she didn't comment on that. That was my classmate saying it, but she said, this is what I interpreted. So, anyways, basically at that point I thought that working with children wasn't glamorous enough, and I was still on the way of or path of self-discovery. I was getting to know myself, and that was the same year when I became a spiritual trainer for the youth of Dubai and certified. And I didn't really, although I was trying to pursue my dream of helping others, of getting into a helpful field and everything, I was really thinking that I should get into a glamorous field of psychoanalysis or therapy and everything. But then, ironically, my first job was working as an assistant teacher for children with special needs at an autism center. And the more I worked with them, the more I realized where my callings were. Where my true callings were, what my true nature is. And I realized more how right my professor was when she told me that you would be working well with the children and that would be the right job for you. And I was like, okay, so this makes sense now. And now that I'm growing more, I'm starting to accept who I am. I'm starting to discover my true self. True spiritual self, true self nature, true self personality, whatever you call it. But I'm becoming more happier. Discovering your true spiritual self happens when you're more happier and more in tune with yourself and more aware and accepting of your inner self, more in love with yourself. And I have actually come to terms with who I am. And that probably makes me more comfortable with who I am. And in return, it makes others around me comfortable with who I am and accept me as well. Because I've accepted myself, the others accept me as well as who I am. And I don't feel any judgments from anyone at all. And I feel that's something that's pretty awesome. I've learned a lot in all my life so far. Anyways, moving on to next thing that was very interesting and spoke to me. It's from Dancing Naked book, and it's from page 135. And it's about the negative thoughts and self-talk. Now, this spoke to me because at one point in my life, I used to do a lot of negative talk because I was a teenager growing up. A lot of negative talk like, this cannot work, I can't do this, I don't think I can make it on time, let's hurry up. I would drive myself crazy, rushing into things. And it would just be like, I would say things to myself and then demotivate myself. My self-esteem will go low. It was really not working out.